You never said it. 3 missed calls, same night. Your name again, your name again. I let it ring to the end. You called again, you called again. Next morning, there you were, like nothing happened. There you were again. I kept thinking, maybe tomorrow, maybe tomorrow, maybe tomorrow. But you called again, you called again, you called again, like you always do. You called again, you called again, you called again, like you already knew I'd be here. You knew the place, you knew the table, you knew the song, you knew the scent, you knew before I did a song, I sent a conversation months ago. You remembered everything. Most people don't, most people don't, but you do. You called again, you called again, you called again, like you always do. You called again, you called again, you called again, like giving up was never you. You said goodbye then stayed, you said goodbye then stayed, you said goodbye then stayed another 20 minutes. You checked the time and stayed, checked the time and stayed, like home could wait for one more hour. I said, what if I never answered? You laughed. What if it took a year? You laughed. What if it took forever? You looked at me and said, I'd still call, I'd still call, I'd still call. Break time. A year, a whole year, and you'd still call. A year, a whole year, and you'd still call. You called again, you called again, you called again, like you always do. You called again, you called again, you called again, and never stopped. You never said I like you. You never said I need you. You never said any of it, but you stayed and stayed and stayed. 3 missed calls, same night. Your name again, your name again. You never said it, not once. You just kept showing up again, again, again.